Powered by Riverside.
What is going on, guys? Kolby Krystofik here, the owner and operator of Oxstar Movement and CrossFit Ventura, and your host for the MVMNT4LIFE Podcast. So excited to talk to you. This is the podcast where we talk about ways that keep us moving throughout our life. Today, we have an episode about sleep and kind of how sleep affects our lives positively or negatively. I did some research looking at some of my own sleep data. I have a Garmin smartwatch, so I have a lot of my data that I can look back for the last year. And I also did a bunch of research to kind of look and see what the science says about recovery. How can it improve my life, and how can lack of sleep ruin my life as well? So we'll kind of talk about some of that. And then we'll also talk about some things that you can do to improve your sleep. What are some low-hanging fruit things that you can do to improve sleep quality, improve your life, improve your recovery, improve your fitness? So before we get into that, though, I want to talk about things that we did in the last week. Leave me a comment down below. What did you do in the last week to move? For me, I did some CrossFit. I did 4 days of CrossFit last week. It was also Thanksgiving. So there was a little bit of a break. We had some amazing large Bring a Friend Day classes. We had 30 plus people on Thursday and on Friday, and close to 30 people on Saturday. I also got to play pickleball a few times because I had some extra time, which was lovely. Love playing me some pickleball. And then I also got to do a really fun run with a friend of mine named Kayo, who we took a 100-pound sandbag and put it up on our shoulder, and we ran 3 miles with it. The goal was to not put that sandbag down. We just switch back and forth whenever we need to switch, and you couldn't walk. You had to jog or run the entire time. We made it 3 miles. It was very difficult holding that sandbag and not having anyone else to switch with, just one person back and forth. It was really difficult, but I'm glad that I'm able to be fit enough to say, hey, you know what? I want to go out and do something hard, and then just go out and do it. So that was really fun for me. Let's talk about some sleep. I'm kind of want to start out today. We all know that sleep affects a number of different things. I'm going to talk about some ways that sleep will improve your life, your fitness, your recovery. I'm going to talk about ways that it can negatively affect your life, so lack of it as well. But before we get into that, I want to just share some stats from myself. You know, I am just as real as all of you guys. So you guys are going to get to read off some of this data that is my actual sleep data for this past year. And we're going to talk about some different factors. I could go on to a daily basis and get more and more details, but I've got an overview for the past year of some bigger metrics. So the first thing that I want to talk about from my Garmin is my sleep score. A sleep score is based on a number of different things: the length of your sleep, the stages of your sleep, how much light sleep, how much deep sleep, how much REM sleep did you get, and recovery, like HRV, during your sleep as well. My highest score this entire last year was an 88 on sleep. My lowest sleep score, my average highest sleep score was an 88. My average lowest sleep score was a 55. So I hovered right around that 70 mark, 70% on my sleep this entire year. I'm looking through here. The beginning of the year, I was actually getting better sleep. Come around April, May, my sleep dropped just a little bit. And then going into June, July, and August, my sleep scores were very low. If you know me, that's the lifeguard season. So the sleep scores were lower then, and then they got brought right back up the end of August, right around that 75 mark. And I've been averaging 75% for the last couple of months. The next metrics that I'm going to look at here is sleep duration versus sleep need. My average sleep duration on a weekly basis, I believe this is for the entire year, is 7 hours and 20 minutes. My average weekly sleep need is 8 hours and 14 minutes. So I've got a cool little calendar in here that shows up with what's my sleep need look like and what's my sleep actual sleep duration look like. I have had 1 week in 2024 where my sleep duration, my sleep need was met. That week was June 13th through June 19th. During this week, I know exactly what was this week. I went on vacation to Hawaii. My vacation in Hawaii, I got lots of sleep. So that was my only week here this entire year that my sleep need was met. That's not good. My highest, it looks like, was in April. My average duration was 7 hours and 46 minutes. 1 week in April, I had 7 hours and 46 minutes of sleep on a daily basis for a week. My lowest was in August. For the week, my average was 6 hours and 30 minutes. So I'm somewhere in between that. I think my yearly is 7 hours and 20 minutes. Not bad overall, but my need is 8 hours and 14 minutes. So I'm almost an hour underneath what I'm supposed to be hitting for a good recovery. My sleep consistency is what's next, which is time of day that I slept. I was actually fairly surprised by this. My average weekly bedtime for the past year is about 10:22 p.m. My average wake time in 2024 was 5:51. And then whereas, of course, I've got average bedtimes that mix all in between throughout the year. I had 1 week that my average wake time was 4:48. It was my average wake time. 5:15, 5:17, 5:03, 5:05, 5:47. And then let's see some average later wake times. My latest wake time for an average week was 6:52. I had a whole week where my average wake time was 6:52 a.m. Wow, that's nice. That was a good week. Oh, that is the same week that I was on vacation. So I had my average wake time was 6:52 a.m. on vacation. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm consistently between 10:20 and 5:50 a.m. on a weekly basis. Very, very consistent. Very few outliers here and there on my sleep schedule. So those are some fun metrics from me. On a big scale, I would rate myself as somebody who has, on a scale of 1 to 5, probably, I guess I would say a 4. I would teeter between a 3.5 and a 4 is what I'd rate myself for sleep. On an average for a year, I've got about 7 hours of sleep. I would rate 8 or more hours as a 5 for sleep. So 7 is about 4, and I'm average that for about the entire year. So let's talk about some ways that sleep can be improving your life. I looked up studies for each of these different things. Um, some of the biggest things is sleep improves physical performance. Adequate sleep improves reaction time, improves endurance, and overall athletic performance. It also supports coordination and decision making during physical activities. Better sleep efficiency and REM sleep are critical for cognitive and motor skills. So REM sleep is where I'm going to be thinking like sport and athletic performance. Enhanced muscle recovery. Sleep promotes protein synthesis and the release of growth hormones vital for muscle repair. Sleep deprivation, which we'll look at a different spot, leads to slower recovery because it impedes these processes. The increased duration of deep sleep is where muscle recovery happens. So we've got cognitive function happening in REM, and we've got deep sleep where our muscles are actually being recovered. Better cognitive function. So outside of athletic performance like sports, we could also think day-to-day cognitive function, aids sleeps in memory, consolidation, and cognitive performance. Poor sleep leads to reduced attention span, lower reaction times, impaired learning. The metrics that are measured here is REM sleep. With improved REM sleep, that is crucial for memory and learning. And it's significantly enhanced by consistent quality sleep. If we can have good REM sleep every single day, we're going to increase our memory. We're going to increase reaction times and learning as well. Stronger immune system. Sleep boosts immune defense by enabling cytokine production, which fights infections. Sleep deprivation reduces this response efficiency. We look at sleep efficiency and continuity for this one. Consistent deep sleep strengthens immune regulation. So we're looking for consistent amount of sleep and deep sleep for improving our immune system. And then optimal hormonal balance. This is a big one, sometimes overlooked, but proper sleep regulates stress hormones like cortisol and hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin. Sleep deprivation disrupts these balances between hormones, increasing risks for obesity, increasing risks for stress and anxiety as well. Metrics that are looked at here is deep sleep contributes to hormonal regulation, while REM sleep balances the mood regulated hormones, the neurotransmitters for those pieces as well. Super good information. Let's talk about some negative impacts of sleep deprivation. Diminished physical performance. So this is basically the opposite of a lot of these. Reduced deep sleep and REM sleep contribute to decreased performance, fatigue, slower reaction times, reduced physical strength. So on the opposite side, not only is if I don't get enough, if I get less, I'm going to go down from my baseline as well. Impaired muscle recovery. Sleep deprivation hinders the release of growth hormone, prolonging recovery periods. Lower quality of deep sleep, which is essential for tissue repair. When we don't repair tissue, like when we're sleep deprived and we're not recovering our tissues, our muscles, our ligaments, we're also at an increased risk for injury. We've got cognitive decline as well. I don't know if you guys have ever felt this, but I've definitely felt this one. Lack of sleep impairs focus, decision-making, and short-term memory. Reduced REM sleep is critical for cognitive function and emotional regulation. I've definitely been in the boat where I don't get enough sleep and I kind of feel like my entire life is in slow motion, where I can like turn my head and things don't turn until 2 seconds later, or it takes me forever to do a simple math problem in the mornings, or, you know, somebody like maybe walks in the door and I get scared because somebody walks in a door. Like my reaction time is I didn't see them coming or something like that. So cognitive decline there. Number 4 is my weakened immune response. Sleep deprivation reduces the cytokine production, increasing susceptibility to infections. With this one, we're looking like, hey, if I am, a good example of this for continuity is if I've got a newborn baby and I'm up every 2 hours, I'm probably not getting consistent sleep, meaning I'm taking naps and getting 1 to 2 hours at a time, 1 to 2 hours at a time, rather than sleeping a full bout of sleep. Or maybe you're somebody who works night shifts and gets off and sleeps for 4 hours, wakes up, goes about their day, and then goes back to sleep for another 4 hours. That is also a lapse in consistent sleeping, right? The last one is hormonal imbalance. Sleep deprivation alters the balance of ghrelin, leptin, leading to increased hunger and stress. It also is not able to keep cortisol in check. So typically, we will lower our levels of cortisol while we sleep. When we don't get enough sleep, there's a chronic elevation of cortisol, which disrupts our recovery and moods as well. Deep sleep disruptions impact metabolic and stress-related hormonal balance. So stress-related is that cortisol. And let's kind of finish this up today, kind of talking about, hey, okay, I get it. I need to sleep more. Like maybe I should be sleeping more. Maybe I should be sleeping longer. Maybe I should be sleeping better. Like, how do I get more continuous sleep? How do I get more deep sleep? How do I get better REM sleep? What are the ways that I can do some of that? So what are some practical tips that we can talk about that will increase my sweet sleep quality and therefore improve your performance, improve your cognitive function, improve your life, improve your mood, all of those other things? The little thing that we don't think about that improves all areas of our life. Okay, the first one is consistent sleep schedule. Science is pretty clear on this. If you can stabilize your circadian rhythm, you can set up like quick sleep times and better wake up times. Basically, the circadian rhythm is based on sunrise and sunset with consistency, right? If I'm following the sunrise and sunset, the sun rises basically the same time every day and sets basically every time the same time every single day. We can optimize sleep by setting consistent schedules. The next thing is creating a restful environment. Dark, cool, and quiet enhances sleep continuity and time in deep sleep stages. So when you're setting up your bedroom, you want somewhere that can be dark. You want somewhere that can be cool. I believe I read the optimal sleep temperature is around 62 degrees. I could be wrong on that one. But you want a decently cool space to be sleeping in and quiet. A dark, a cool, and a quiet. That's going to help increase the continuity of your sleep, and it's also going to increase the deep sleep. And we want to limit screen exposure before bedtime. Reducing blue light exposure facilitates melatonin production, promoting earlier sleep onset. For some of us, this is a really big factor, and some of us, it may not be a factor at all. There's blue light blockers that can help reduce the blue light as well. Some people, even if they are looking at the phone, they can shift out of the blue light. A lot of our technology is shifted out of blue light at night. But even with that, even if someone was staring at a screen up until they go to sleep, they can fall asleep quickly and have no issues falling asleep. Some people do. So if you find that, hey, I've got an issue falling asleep, it's hard for me to get comfortable, to get into bed and fall asleep quickly, maybe some blue light blockers or avoiding screen time before bed will help improve that. And then monitoring nutrition and caffeine intake. Obviously, this seems like a no-brainer, but maybe you're going to be doing this and not really realizing it. Avoiding stimulants before bed and avoiding heavy meals before bed also helps improve sleep quality and time spent in the deep stages. We can improve deep sleep and overall sleep continuity by avoiding those stimulants and also not eating a massive meal right before bedtime, right? If I'm going to try to eat a meal right before bedtime and then fall asleep within 20, 30 minutes, probably not going to go well for our sleep quality for the night. And then finally, establishing a relaxing pre-sleep routine. Sometimes this makes a really big difference for people. If you are having issues getting to sleep, um, or continuity with your sleep, doing something like a pre-bedtime routine can help significantly with this. Mindfulness practices lower pre-sleep arousal, leading to quick sleep onset and fewer disruptions. So if I can wind down peacefully over the period of half an hour to an hour, then it's actually shown that, hey, I can improve my time to falling asleep, and I can also improve the amount of time that I'm actually asleep, reduce the disruptions during the night. So these are some fun um, ways that not only can sleep improve your life, also some ways that lack of sleep can ruin your life. And then what are some things that you can do, actionable things that you can do to improve your sleep? The last thing that I'll kind of put on there is maybe you have no idea what's going on with your sleep and you would like to see some data or some metrics or do some measuring. I highly recommend a wearable for this. I think that Apple has sleep functions on it. I know that Whoop also has sleep functions. Aura Ring has sleep functions on it. The Garmin watches also have sleep functions. I really, really like the data from the Garmin. It takes into account all of my activities throughout the day, how much sleep I should be getting, and then measures all of this data. So maybe I can figure out, hey, if I try to do one of these things, does it actually have a measurable difference for my sleep quality? Can I go from a 75% average to an 80% average? Or can I go from 7 hours and 20 minutes on an average sleep to 7 hours and 40 minutes on an average sleep? So I think tracking or having some data to help with that um, is a very helpful thing. Do I think that you need to be obsessing about how your sleep is every single day? No, maybe not. But maybe if I'm trying to make some improvements, doing some measuring is going to be a helpful thing for you. Great. If you love this, please share it with somebody else who could use some help with their sleep, or maybe you're trying to get some information out to a friend or a family member that's like, hey, you are not getting enough sleep every single day. You need to be getting more sleep. How do we do it? Send this to them. If you liked this, like this video, like the podcast, rate us, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We release podcasts every single Thursday. We talk about topics that keep us moving throughout our life, all sorts of different things that are health and fitness related. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next Thursday.